Welcome, everybody, to the Nonprofit Edge. I'm Maureen Gage Edwards. I am your moderator, and we have the most special show for you today. We have a special guest, and before I introduce him, today, if you are a nonprofit and you are joining us for the first time, welcome. This is where we bring you strategies, insights, resources, and tools from John Consulting and Joe John himself. He's the CEO and an IMIS expert, and he is the host of this show. And if you're just joining for the first time, welcome. You are absolutely in the right place. And we're very happy to have you here. This is episode 5, and we're going to be talking all about how to protect and grow your revenue, closing revenue holes, and unlocking new income. And I have to tell you, this is probably going to be one of the most enlightening episodes that we have, because we have a special guest. Paul Leahy is here. He's the Vice President of Member Engagement and Operations. And this is with TIA. And TIA is Transformation Intermediaries Association. And Joe, I first want to say welcome back to the hot seat with me. And Paul, so excited to have you join us today. This is going to be absolutely amazing for you to share the unbelievable solutions that nonprofits are going to be able to implement to help them, unlock new revenue streams. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I really am too. And so we have a lot to cover. And I want to say to everybody out there, I'm going to be asking a lot of questions. We're going to be getting a lot of answers. But if you have questions, please go ahead, put them in the chat. Also, throw out your comments. We would love to hear those as well. And we have something very special at the end that Paul's going to be sharing with us. So that's a little bit of a teaser. Don't go anywhere. All right. So actually, I'm going to start with Joe, because we don't want to leave Joe out. It's not going to be all about Paul, right? You're special, Paul, but we can't leave Joe out. So let's kind of set the stage right here. When we talk about nonprofits, Joe, what do you see as the most common revenue gaps that the nonprofit associations right now seem to be miss or are hidden inside their everyday operations that they're just not seeing?
Okay, well, thanks for that. Thanks for the question and the introduction, and thanks to Paul for being here. Paul is he's a great first guest for us. So I think it's apropos that we got Paul for our first one. But yeah, I think so. I'm not going to say necessarily like a lot of organizations. Some of them do these things, and some of them kind of do these things half-heartedly. But basically, I think depending on your market space, you can really create a vendor-based membership where you take, these are our sponsors, these are our vendors, these are folks that are in our industry, and they want to do business with our membership, right? That's who these people are. Bring them into your community. Welcome them in. And then, allow them to, and have like standard packages for different levels of membership. A lot of times for these members, you offer lots of different levels because people are at there's different levels they want to be at, essentially. And then you add a lot of other optional, value as well. I think, so adding premium options, if you have a hot directory and it's a good value, optionally, if you want to be promoted to the top and give special premium status with more detail on your profile, these are things not hard to do. I think you should also look at automating things as much as possible with Process Automation Plus, automate all your emails. I think having a sales engagement to be able to take all of your opportunities and this is a lot of what Paul has done over the last year, and we've helped him out. We've helped him accomplish these goals. But basically, getting all that wrapped up and available for their community is really great. So yeah, being able to define all of your different areas of what your opportunities are and what your sales are, where your leads are coming from, all those things Paul's going to show today. And I think, people should be aware that there's a Space Master, and Space Master allows you to create all of your, basically sell all of your advertising and all your sponsorships. And the last two I want to mention is, I think a job board is great. It brings in the younger audience, and it's something that is either an added member benefit or it can be a revenue generator. Some organizations will sell job board posting to non-members, so that's a potential there. And then volunteering, always making sure you have avenues open for volunteering, build the systems you need to be able to do the outreach and get the interactions and get the feedback. So yeah, those are the things I wanted to highlight.
So there's so much pressure on nonprofits today to really stabilize the dues membership, because we do see them having a difficult time and they are struggling with it. Can you give some of the suggestions on how to improve this? How do they, retain their members, but also, look at engagement, look at perceived member value? What can they do to stabilize that and be smart about it?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I think you got to be able to measure what's happening. So you got to be able to measure what your engagement scores are. So these are things you can define yourself as an organization. I also think it's important that, membership and fundraising can have their own engagement score as well. They're different operations with different metrics. And so I think, breaking it out like that, you can also do an engagement score on customer spend. So engagement scoring module is something that you can build out as many of those metrics as you want. I think it also, defining your touch points, making sure you start thinking about your member journey. What does that member journey look like, start to finish? You want to use factors like engagement scoring, and I think creating a win back program. That's something that we've been doing. That basically at a certain, the customer sets the time frame. If people lapse for a certain amount of time, you offer them a special win back promotion. That does well, and it makes sure that sometimes it's the timing of the membership payment, and a few months later, it's a better time for it. And I think make sure you segment your marketing. So your marketing, when you set up your marketing preferences, make sure you've got every different thing defined, and then you want to make sure those emails respect that setting. So that's something to be prepared for. And I think, set up campaigns. And this is something Paul and I actually talked about, setting up marketing campaigns to really, measure, individual touches from the different campaigns. And you can easily pass that source code in the URL and record it and really use it to measure. And then leverage Space Master. And then I think, longer term, clients should really be thinking about their member journey. What are the touch points, the pathways, and the metrics? I think that's something that obviously AI and other tools will be available to really, deliver. So
That is great. What an amazing amount of information, Joe. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Paul for a minute. So Paul, you're the Vice President of Member Services and Operations. Can you just give us a little bit of background of who TIA is? The Transportation Intermediaries Association. That's a big, long word. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you kind of shortened it.
Yeah.
What is your mission? Who are your key constituents? Who's your audience? Who do you serve out there?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And thank you for having me. Obviously, when you put together my title and the name of the organization, that business card gets a little crowded. But the TI, the Transportation Intermediaries Association, we're a 501c6 trade association. We represent about 1,600 member companies, most of which are licensed freight brokers or third-party logistics providers, 3PLs. And then we have about 200 industry partners, associate members that we bring into the fold. They're primarily technology providers, insurance providers, staffing providers, and sort of other niche services within the supply chain industry that help our members. The one great thing about our associate members is they are part of our community. They're not just this side piece, this side group of people. They're fully integrated in what we're doing. They have their own committees, a couple of their own committees that they can meet, and they can they can contribute to the overall mission of the association, which is to provide the resources and education that our members need to be successful so their companies can be successful, and then to advocate on their behalf on Capitol Hill. Another really great thing about our associates is they're involved in that fight with us. If you don't know anything about the supply chain industry, you should know that there's huge strategic theft and fraud issues within the supply chain industry. It's crazy. It's out of control. It is at a level and scale that is almost unimaginable. So having those technology providers, insurance providers, and other associate members actually on the Hill with us and having those kind of conversations, those strategic conversations of, hey, how do we as a group forward your mission? Like, how do we do that together? Even though, yes, I'm in it to provide technology services to your members, but I'm also in it because like we all do better when they do better. We're all safer, and theft isn't as big of an issue when we're all working together, when we're strategizing, sharing data, sharing information. So that's just kind of our association in a nutshell. Again, it's about 1,600 member companies. It covers about 10,000 member contacts. Which is sort of the number we use when we're talking to people who are interested in expanding their footprint within our membership and within our association.
So what are the actual benefits and offerings that you provide for them when they join your association for these associations?
Yeah, sure. Like I'll focus primarily on what we provide our associate members, because I could go in full detail about what we provide our industry, like our regular members, but our associate members, primarily it's their way to network, business development, but even deeper than that, it's their ability to demonstrate expertise by writing articles, by speaking on panels, by serving on, the committees that we have set up for them to participate on. It's about, again, just showing that they're the experts, but it's also about being a strategic partner, right? So especially with our technology vendors, they're at our conference, they're not just exhibiting, but they're having conversations with our members who are their subscribers, who are their clients, who help them develop their product even more, right? Oh, we had this idea. Is this real? Does this work in real time? Does this work in the context of what you're seeing every day out there, broker? And they can have those conversations and they can develop those platforms, not unlike Joe and I using IMIS and other, SaaS platforms. We can work together, not just as a client and a provider, but as partners in evolving and developing our systems for maximum efficiency and impact. So sorry, to go back, it's mainly demonstrating expertise and being able to have those conversations with our members. They're not getting a lot of tangible. They don't sign up for our courses or things like that we have for our regular members.
Yeah, and just to clarify, so obviously we're talking about non-dues revenue, but we're talking about dues revenue right now. So what this is, the reason we're talking about is these are your traditional vendors and traditional advertisers that are now part of the community and adding value to the community.
Yeah,
so
and
it's a revenue generator and it enhances the whole community. So,
yeah, and an important note, like for us, you have to be a member to sponsor at our conference, to sponsor any of our courses, any ads. Like you have to be a member. If you want a booth, you could sign up. It's a non-member rate, but there's just like so many keys that are unlocked, so many doors that are unlocked with the key of membership that we highly encourage them. We don't do advertising, except for very rare case-by-case basis. We don't even do advertising for non-members. We want to make sure that those who are in our community are the only ones that are affecting our brand, right, or influencing it in any way, because everything we put out with our logo on it or from one of our platforms, like it reflects on us as well. So we ensure that our advertisers are also members in our community and vetted and providing products.
And doing a membership also stabilizes that sponsor revenue, and that because it flattens it out instead of, because you could have huge spikes if you're just selling it piecemeal. So
exactly. Exactly.
That totally makes sense to me, though, from any perspective. From a marketing perspective, a brand perspective, even a partnership perspective, a personal perspective, So I have a question about, you brought your advertising, your membership sponsorship in-house, probably having more control over it, right?
Yep.
how has this been working for you? And did you incorporate new software? And did you roll this out? How's this been working?
Yeah, absolutely. And my advice going into it is if you can avoid drinking from the fire hose, avoid it. We insourced a lot of functions in a short period of time. Now, the end result, the end goal, the prize right at the end of the hallway is better relationship with our members, right? Better relationship with our advertisers, with our sponsors. And so we did that. And again, in hindsight, I wish we had done it a little piecemeal, but like you've got to react, right? You have to go where your members are and make those kind of decisions. So it started with our meetings. We had a great meetings vendor, and like I want to just like lead off with we had great relationships with all of our vendors, and anything I say has nothing to do with their performance necessarily. It's just what's right for you and your organization. And you might be at the size or time where it still makes sense to have that kind of partner, and there's nothing wrong with that. What we decided was in order to deepen that relationship and to maximize on our efficiencies, we brought it in-house, right? So that started with the planning and executing of our meeting, which includes the exhibit hall, exhibit sales, sponsor sales, working with vendors. It started there, right? And then we worked to bring in-house our advertising. Again, we had a partner and we felt like it was easier for us. We had more control over what we were selling. It was easier to make the connection of like, oh, this person is sponsoring at this event. Let's make sure that they know about advertising opportunities.
Yeah, and you also eliminated a big cost item. You're not paying them anymore either.
Yeah, we eliminated. That was a nice byproduct. I'll be totally honest with you. The premier reason we did this, the primary consideration was deepening that relationship and cutting down on the number of handoffs in a particular transaction, because it just ate at me. It hurt so badly that like somebody would sign up through a third-party vendor to be an exhibitor, and then it had to come through us to then send them up.
Well, I mean, fundamentally, it's
somebody else to do advertising.
It's much more difficult to outsource to be able to have quality control over outsourced work. If you want to have good quality control, you need to insource it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you can do more things. You have more flexibility, right? If we decide a month in, oh, we want to change the format of a particular ad we're selling, or the price that we're selling, or the way that we're delivering it, we can do that without having to have a meeting with the third-party vendor, make sure that they know everything that they need to know. We have more control over pricing, over placement, all kinds of stuff like that, right? And the big thing for us was making those connections, right? Okay, we've got an advertiser in our monthly newsletter. Well, what's the topic about? Is it about cybersecurity? Oh, we should go get a member that provides cybersecurity insurance to submit an ad, right? To the newsletter, to the magazine. So we were able to sort of make those connections a little bit easier when you have that kind of control, as you mentioned, Joe.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of these are recurring too. So when you make an agreement, it's not a one-time spot. It's in a recurring thing.
Yeah. And again, going back to the developing that relationship, it's much easier to get repeat sales and sort of cyclical sales and repeat sales when we're having that conversation with them and they're not working through a third-party vendor.
Yeah.
So you can see definitely that this is a solution to increasing revenue, increasing income within your organization.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you're seeing that results.
Yeah, absolutely. Even just bringing our exhibitor and sponsorship sales in-house for our conference, we're already like 175% to budget for our big show that's coming up next month.
Wow.
So just having like a team that's right in the office, right down the hall, I can go knock on her door. Hey, have we done this? Have we thought about that? And vice versa. She can be like, oh, I'm looking for a vendor that provides this product so I can match them with this sponsorship opportunity or this exhibit hall opportunity. And we can do that. And again, we really enjoyed, and they did a great job, the team that we previously used, but there's just so many more advantages to having that in-house if you can do it.
Yeah, and the thing is, one of the things Paul's going to show is the opportunity management system. So we had like a baseline kind of a setup, and then Paul took it and ran with it. He's got a really wonderful sales management portal built into his IMAS system. So that's something.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible when I hear those type of ROIs. I want to talk about websites for a second, because the website is changing so dramatically, especially when we look at AI, and engagement is just so huge, knowing every step of that journey from a sponsor, an advertiser, a member, a prospect, what are they doing? And so I'd really like to know what tools you're using in order to know exactly what is going on so that you can make educated decisions. Is there anything particular you're really fond of right now?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a couple that we really like. We've got this click tracker now that we worked on with Joe,
Right.
and his team put it together for us, and that enables us to track clicks whether the individual is logged in or not. Obviously, if they're logged in, it attributes it to their record in our AMS, so we can actually go to a particular individual and see what they've done and see what they haven't gone to. Right? We can do things like, oh, we know this list of 50 people clicked on our conference website, but because the activity data is missing from our website, we know they didn't register, and so we can reach out to them. We have one really fun. We use a sort of a conversational engagement platform called PropFuel. I don't know, maybe others in the association industry have heard about it. And one thing we did is we started to send out a monthly newsletter to our prospects. And the way that PropFuel works is you can ask a question and then people will like answer it. And depending on how they answer, you can send them to a different web page or have it pop up or have an internal alert come to you. In any case, we sent this out to qualified prospects, right? And you could actually see one individual clicked on the ad, went to the conference page, looked around the conference, went to the membership application, clicked around the membership join page, went back to conference, went back to membership, and then submitted and completed his activity. So we can see that all in our AMS. We
track that.
He answered to the campaign that he answered. Plus, we can see his entrance to the website, everything that he did. And so, I send this
right
over
because he didn't create an account right away, did he? Or I guess he already had an account because
he did have an account. Like a lot of our prospects for membership come in through our application and then they just bail on it for whatever reason.
Not everybody's qualified to be a member of TIA, so
exactly
TIA
not everybody's qualified either.
Yeah, they've got a lot of responsibility, so that they have a baseline, that members have to meet. So it's qualification both ways, So
yeah, absolutely. So so having in that case, I could just send the sales manager say, hey, go. This guy's paid. He joined. Go vet his, credentials. Make sure he's good to go. Which we kind of already knew because it went out to a list of candidates who we'd already verified. But I said, hey, he's been clicking around the conference webpage and maybe talk to him about the conference. Like, don't be weird about it, right? Don't be a big brother and be like, oh, I saw you clicked on the site, but hey, welcome to the association. Did you know about our conference coming up? Can I answer any questions? And just being able to get that extra added insight.
The cool thing about Click Tracker is that when I don't know if he created the account and after he clicked around your site, you would also get that data.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
See his whole journey. That's the kind of data that is good for AI to kind of really, implement triggered reactions and things like that. So
yeah, absolutely.
That is the most amazing metrics. And I always say metrics drive the creative, but the metrics also drive the relationship, because then you can reach out in that way that serves them, because they may not know what they don't know. They just need somebody to help guide them, answer a question. You don't know why they dropped off. So just reach out, say, what can I help you with for the next step that they may have been confused about?
Planning that member journey is important. And that's something that organizations will revisit periodically. But just thinking about, what are the stages, kind of define what it is, and then define, usually engagement's important, because then it's like if engagement drops, then you have to touch these people a different way. But when engagement increases, well, maybe give them more opportunities, ask them if they want to be on a committee or, so it's like being able to kind of define all that out and then automate it. It's just going to be a gift that keeps on giving,
Yeah,
absolutely. It's our way to have the conversation with the members that they want to have, right? Like I imagine my association is not unlike a lot of other associations out there, especially trade associations. Just a huge wide range of members by size, types, services they provide, regions in which they exist, size of the company. And we've got, a million, obviously I'm exaggerating, we've got a million benefits, right? And maybe only 30% of them are relevant to company A or individual A, and maybe another 25% are with C. So if we know based on how we've talked to them, what we've asked them, what we can see of their behavioral data in our system, then we can have the conversation with them. We won't even talk about that other thing, right? We won't talk about the conference if they're not interested in conference. If they're interested in a digital resource, that's what we're talking about, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah, and
Well,
you're
that
giving
makes
them
sense.
ways to tell you what they're interested in. So they're telling you, hey, this is what I'm about, and then you give them what they want. It's
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So before we jump into the really fun stuff, what would be a few things that you would say to nonprofit leadership, the decision makers out there who are looking to increase the non-revenue, the non-membership dues? So, the things that we've talked about, what are the last bit of advice that they can walk away with right now?
Yeah, I have a couple of thoughts on that. It's gonna sound a little cliche, and not intending it to be lazy, but identify the low hanging fruit, right?
yeah.
Go for what's right in front of you. Go for a bigger buck for less of an effort, right? And I'm a path of least resistance kind of guy, so I'm always looking for, okay, what conversations are we already having? What members are already invested in us, right? And how can we just take that to the next level? How can we build on what's already there, right? People say it all the time. It costs much less to renew a member than to go out and get a new member, right? It takes much less to get a repeat sale or transaction from an existing customer than it is to go out and get a new customer. So we think about it like that. And then also like be very conscious about the time and energy you're putting forth, right? And going back to my previous comment, if I had a year to plan all these things out and put them in the calendar and really build it out step by step, I would have done it. We didn't have that kind of luxury. We just kind of jumped in. We jumped off the cliff and built the plane like while we were falling, and it worked for us. It's not always the best. I would encourage you to do more planning, talk to people. And then finally, like talk to your members, right? They're going to tell you what they want. They're going to tell you what they're interested in both sides, right? Talk to your key member base. Like what services are they looking for? Who's hot in the market? Like what products and services and companies are you using? And then you can go to those companies that have already developed that relationship and say, hey, like people are talking about you. Let's keep the conversation going. And then on that side also, because it all goes back to relationship development and management, is having those conversations with your vendor members as well. And that's one of the biggest reasons we did this is, again, we were getting fragmented. Oh, I'm interested in advertising, go here. Oh, I'm interested in sponsorship, go here. Now we can sit down. Our team internally can sit down with the team at like one of our big member companies and say, okay, how much did you budget this year? What are your goals? What vehicles are you looking for? How can we do that? And we can have that meeting at the beginning of the year and just
you do those in person or is this the email?
Usually virtual, just doing them over Zoom. I mean, when we can travel out.
That's what I mean. It's with you virtually meeting with them. You're taking your time to give,
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, it's just worth so much more because we can have a company come to us and say, hey, I've budgeted $70K for 2026 for TIA. I want a booth. I want some advertising. You tell me what else can you put me in? And then it's a group decision, right? We're talking them through. We're giving them insight. They're giving us insight, and we're coming up with a plan. Same way we would do as if a regular member said, "Hey, my goal is to educate 50% of my staff and do this, that, and the other." We would sit down with them and build out that plan with them. Here are the resources. Here are the key opportunities. How can we help you get there? So being able to do that, bringing it in-house, allowed us even more to look at it holistically and have those conversations with our members and key stakeholders.
So let me ask you, would $70,000 a year buy them a place on the marketplace on your website? That would probably get a spot there, right?
No, but it would get them a significant discount on the marketplace. And that's actually one thing that we do a little bit differently, or maybe some trade associations do this, is we actually have we'll call them most invested vendor members can actually sit on our open board. They don't have like the same, obviously, voting rights as regular board members that are elected from within our membership, but they're there. They're talking about what they're seeing from their perspective, right? From their side of the industry. And it's really helpful. But yeah, we are touring around with the idea that perhaps we can give them other stuff if they sponsor at a particular level. But that does get them on that, what we call a logistics leadership council.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for those of you out there, if you have any questions for Paul or Joe, go ahead and put them in the comments because we are going to get into the good stuff. Paul's going to show us some demos, some things that he works with to provide solutions for his organizations. And I think these are things they can duplicate. Leadership can duplicate as well.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. So, Paul, do you want to go ahead and share your
Yeah, sure,
screen?
absolutely. I'm gonna share, and then I would just throw out there that hey, this is the beginning of the conversation. If you've got questions later, I'll leave my email. You're welcome to reach out to me. I don't want to make offers for Joe, but as I've known him, I suspect that he will welcome your emails too. If you've got questions about anything that we covered or any ideas that you want to tease out, that's part of the community, right? Let's see. Let me make sure I get the right one here.
Now, Paul, this is actual real world stuff. This is yours.
Yeah,
This is what
live
you
demo.
work with.
Yeah, this is live.
Okay.
So if I click off something really quick, it's because I didn't want to share any personal identifying information. So
Okay.
keep that in mind. So this is our opportunity manager, our opportunity portal. This is something that we work with Joe. Joe built it for us, and then we took it and made it ours, right? He took something he had built for another client that worked really well, dropped it into our system, and then we configured it to our needs. And so this is just, let me make it a little bit bigger for everyone here.
Yeah, I just made it bigger for everybody on the screen
perfect.
too.
So we started using this for real, like in the fall, but we went in and added a couple of opportunities from the spring and the summer just to kind of feed it data to practice, right? When I got my sales team into it, using it. And it also helped us kind of fine tune different displays and functionalities that we were looking for. But what you're looking at now is every opportunity that we have added into our system since we set this up, right? So that's 493 total opportunities we've added to our system with an opportunity value north of 1.5 million, right? And you can kind of see here, most of it is membership acquisition. Our sales team has always done primarily membership acquisition. So it starts there. Then we've got, you can see website advertising and all the different other opportunity types. You could search for opportunities by status, right? Like, oh, give me all the warm leads. We'll see if this works. I say that more so because of the connection, not because of the tech. I could check all the warm leads. I could say, oh, show me all the warm leads for exhibit booths and get it down that way. And, oh, was the initial communication inbound, outbound? There's just a tons of different filters that you can put in here.
Quick question, Paul. How long did it take you to enter? When did you start entering opportunities to get the 493? How long have you been using this?
Let's see.
It's been about 6 months, right? Something like that.
It has been about 6 months. I'm going to go clear this.
That's a lot. You guys are using the system. Yeah.
We have been using it, and I give credit to my sales team that they've really jumped in and run with it. We started using it about October. In earnest. Yeah. And so there you can see, and then we've got our wins dashboard, which is always great.
I love this one. This is
certain percentage of those. I didn't add them total. This is 194, not out of the 4 something, but 194 plus the 4 something out of that, right? We separated it for a number of reasons, but you can see here are recorded wins since we went live.
That's a nice number there. That's a good number.
Yeah.
Right.
Very good.
And here you can see the breakdown, right? It's a lot of it is, I got to change this so I can see it. But a lot of it you're going to see is membership acquisition, sponsorship, where our big leading ones. And we've only recently really started to record website advertising as both an opportunity and as a win. We expect to see that more as we continue through this journey. One page I like is kind of shifting very briefly to membership acquisition. Here's our prospect portal. So again, this is prospects that we've either added over time because they went to a meeting, signed up for something, a sales manager found out about them by looking online. I don't know. Most of these are people who came in through our online membership application, but did not complete it, stopped at some point during the application process. So you can see we've
already invested time. Yeah.
And so when we say verified authority, these are all the prospects in our system that have a license with the FMCSA. Don't make me say the whole word, but it's basically the federal agency that oversees supply chain, right? The motor carriers, brokers, 3PLs, and others within the supply chain. And so we know out of these, about 1,700 prospects, we know 625 of them have at least one piece of the eligibility requirement for membership. You have to have your license, and we have a credit requirement, credit score days to pay requirement. And we found these guys that are a subsection of this are all fully qualified. They're have authority. They've got a qualifying credit score. These are the guys that we go after as often as possible. These are the ones that get our prospect newsletters. These are the ones that I tell my sales team, hey, pull up the list every day, throw a dart at it, and make a phone call, right? Because they're the ones. Then we've got
this is a great example of measuring. Being able to measure and know who specifically is your audience, and then it just gives you it's valuable information that you can use.
Yeah, absolutely. And I won't go too deep into it, but I were to take you through this, I could show. What did I do that? Here we go. As applicants come into our system and don't join and they abandon the application, we at least capture some information. So this is that number, their license number. So what we can do is we actually have a set of processes, right? Like once or twice a day, somebody can go through and say, oh, I got 2. Let me go check them really quick and update their roster or their profile. So, okay, we checked Routewell. They've got authority. We update their record. They drop off this list. And okay, now we've got all these people with authority, but we haven't verified their credit. We actually have a partner and an associate member that we use. We send them the list. They populate it with data. They send it back. We upload it, run a bunch of automated processes and all that good stuff. And so this is a way to help us move people through the vetting, qualification, and then sales process, the acquisition process.
Do you want to maybe open an opportunity and show them what an opportunity looks like?
Yeah.
And by the way, for those that don't, this is IMUS. So this is IMUS.
Yeah.
It's an IMUS portal. It's an IMUS website. It has its own profile and site map and everything that's optimized for the sales department.
Yeah.
And so they're selling both membership and sponsorships, advertising all through this one system.
Yeah, absolutely. And so there's a couple ways I can do it as the sales team lead. Essentially, like I look at it more from a macro level perspective. When I'm not kind of assigning things, I'll talk about that a little bit, but I can go through here and I can see same sort of filterable, like what's the status that the sales manager applied? What kind of lead is it? What is the opportunity? I can pull up, y'all membership acquisition, or I'm only looking at eBlast. I want to know if there's been some activity there, right? And so I can go, okay, earlier today, my sales manager talked to Pamela at this company about doing website advertising. And I can go in and I can see if he had any notes. Sometimes they put in notes. They can add a task, and I'll show you what that looks like. So he said, okay, I talked to her, and now he left himself a task on 3/16, in about a week. Right. He's going to follow up with her. Hey,
so now this opportunity becomes part of his task list because he put a follow-up date that's in the future. Mm-hmm. So now when the salespeople log in, they see all their upcoming tasks.
Yeah. And it doesn't have a lot of data for me because I'm not actively selling really anymore.
I always go on behalf of them.
But I can go on behalf of, and I can actually go in, I can edit, I can ask him questions. I can actually create an opportunity myself on behalf of one of them. And then
you want to scroll down and show them this? These are all of this. Look at all the tasks he has coming up.
Yeah, these are all the tasks that this one sales manager put in. And so what we do is when
it's not just him putting it in, you can put it in for him. You could put it in and assign it to him and go up in his list. Right.
They don't love that, but you have to do that sometimes, right? Like if I
got on the fact that you get an opportunity, you can write it down and assign it. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. And I know, I can, and I usually do, but I wouldn't even necessarily have to email him, hey, I added this. He'll just log in. When they log in, it defaults to their own opportunity screen. Right. So if I'm logged in as Andrew, this is what I'm going to get to. This is just his open opportunity list. And then I
think one thing I want to mention is the nonprofits have IMUS. They have access to this, but they have to be open to saying, okay, I can't rely on just membership anymore. And that's what we're talking about is closing, expanding the opportunities and unlocking these new revenue streams. You've looked at sponsorship. You've looked at, let's get websites website advertising out there. Let's get these people at these conferences. You have to be willing to expand those opportunities in your organization and then utilize this within IMUS. And
Yep.
that's what we're talking about, is you can't just be reliant on people coming in as a member anymore. You have to open all of this to them. And I think that's where they have to be more open-minded, because look at all the opportunities they have to go ahead and use this as their customer maintenance.
And like Paul said, I mean, pulling all this in-house means they're nurturing the relationship themselves personally.
Yeah.
You know, and so they're building that better connection and saving the money from not having to outsource it. And then and also too, this is a system that they built themselves, you know. So just so people know, the original proposal was for a certain amount, and he only spent about a quarter of that, and then he did the rest himself.
Yep.
And as his reseller, I'm actually happy. I mean, I'm coming in under budget. That's great with us. You know, we're busy, and the fact that he basically took, you know, 80% of, or you know, something like that of what we would have normally done, and he did it himself, and he built it exactly how he wanted it, just because he knows how to use IMUS. So, you know, a lot of times if you know how to use IMUS, you just need your reseller to point you in the right direction, maybe give you a starting point, and then you can kind of run with it.
Right.
Add that value yourself with your own skills.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know there's like a million things I could show in this, and I know we only have a few minutes left, so I won't bore you the rest of that. But I did want to show, this is our I don't know if I told you this, Joe. I put Space Master in the opportunity portal just because I theme so much, and just so the guys wouldn't have to click around as much. But this is our essentially our advertising management system through Space Master, which allows my team to go in to create proposals, to invoice our members for the advertising opportunities, and then actually track it. And it helps the marketing team place those advertising and know, like, okay, May's wide open, or like September's wide open. Oh, but like March is done. No more selling in March, things like that. We've only just really started to use this in mid-January. I'm happy with how it's taken off, and it accelerates every day as the guys get more comfortable using the system, and as they develop those relationships and have more opportunities and sales to put in here. But I always really like this as a way to keep it within IMUS in a way that just maximizes everything.
Yeah, I mean, this is part of your engagement. We'll probably have to add this to your engagement scoring to give credit for this level of engagement. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the final thing I want to show, because I know we've got a couple minutes left, and I would be remiss if I did not show you this, is the click tracker. Wow. And so we've
what is it? This is like 2.5 months or 2 months or something.
I think 12, 15. So 3 months almost. And so this is something we worked with Joe on as a product, and he helped us set it up and everything across all of our properties on our website. Our website is actually built into IMUS Rise, which is another key thing for efficiency and dynamic content and better development of relationships with our members. This is primarily looking at just our website. So we don't do much website advertising just because we want to keep our website as useful and beneficial and non-commercial as possible. But we do have a couple of sections of our website that are specific to that, including our marketplace, which I will show you. This is our marketplace. This is where we tell members, our regular practicing members, to go to look for solutions. So they can go in and they say, oh, I'm looking for computer systems, hardware. Hopefully we've got one. We do. Great. And you can click on it. And this is actually a self-service page or destination or hub, you could call it, for our members. And they can go in and they actually did all this. We can walk them through it, but this is hands off, right? They log into their account. They can add videos. They can add images. They can change it from month to month. If they've got new promotional discounts, if they have new products they want our members to know about, they can actually do that, and they can build this out and they can change it however they want. Let's see, we can reset We've got 8 participants right now. We're expecting a lot of growth in this area this year. We've made it a little bit easier. Previous versions of this were, I think, a little bit too complex, not on the technical side, but on the business processy side, what we were offering, how we were managing it. We streamlined it. We've got the one page, we've got the one system. I think the biggest thing here is that we're able to sell this and then just give it to the member and say, hey, get someone on your marketing team to log in and manage this. And, we'll check it from time to time to make sure there's not anything like weird or inflammatory, but we're not too worried about these people because they're paying good money to get up here. One thing I will show additionally is for those who are not on the marketplace, our associate members, all of them get a basic listing in our directory, but those marketplace participants get premier placement. They're going to be at the top if they show up in the search. If
there's more details. If you scroll down, the other people don't have as much. They don't have their services listed, or so they're
not even clickable. These guys are. They've got all this extra information, and the same with our members. We don't do a lot of sales. We're focused right now on our vendor members, but our regular members, they could do the same thing. They have their own directory, and they can upgrade if they want to a couple of different levels. If they want to be higher up in the search, if they want to have their logo, if they want to have more about us information. We have a few. Not a lot, again, because we haven't really actively gone out and sold it. I think we probably will starting later this year. One good thing about a directory listing is the way we set it up in our system is we can tie it to the dues as an add-on product. So when we send out the dues renewal every fall, our members can go, and sometimes they do, and then just click and upgrade and say, okay, I'm going to renew my dues and I'm going to go like mid-level directory.
And right. So it's an optional item that they check on renewal. And then if they've checked it in previous years, it comes pre-checked in future years. Yeah. So I mean, they can uncheck it, but a lot of times they add this premium benefit and they just renew it every year.
Yeah. And so you'll see a lot of that data flows through here. These are directory listing and marketplace.
Now, have you pushed the sponsor profiles out to the sponsors so they can see like who's clicking their stuff?
Not yet.
That's a premium feature that's on the table.
We could. We'll get there. It's on the roadmap, Joe. It's like, again,
so by the way, for 2 months you've got 100,000, 200,000 clicks. You also had us add impressions. That wasn't 149,000. You had us add impressions. So now he can just get an impression of a page when somebody loads it. And then he can still assign that page to an advertiser and record who did the impression and who's the advertiser. So it's clicks and impressions now.
Yeah. And the cool thing about this is because it's right in IMIS, we can integrate it with all of our dashboards. And that's what we've done. So here you can see our main dashboard. Here we can see all the clicks on our website for the last 30 days. We can. And this is something we do regularly, and I wish we would talk more about, and we're kind of getting there. It's like, what were our members doing last week? What are they up to? Which of our resources are they consuming? So we can see, how many attended or registered for a conference. Here's like in the last week, for whatever reason, more people have gone to our member directory than they have our conference page, right? You can see how many people have gone to the sign-in page, how many people have gone to our contracts page, or have gone to their roster to update the contacts on their roster. We can see we've got this. This is a little different. This isn't Click Tracker, but we have TIA Connect. We have a Higher Logic communities, and we can see how many people logged in last week, how many people replied to a post, how many people started a conversation.
You guys are measuring clicks there too now, I think. You're also measuring.
We are. We have just recently done it.
So guys, this is only 2 months. They've been using it for 2 months. And then most of the stuff that he's showing, he built himself.
Yeah, so I mean, we did. You're giving me a lot of credit, and I appreciate it.
Well, I've got you and your team.
that have really started to step up and do this, and that's one great thing is when Joe or his team builds something, we can take that and we can bump the lamp, right? We can make a really small tweak to it to make it better or more beneficial or more impactful, either there or somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's pretty impressive, and it's only going to get better.
Yeah, I want to see what you're doing with this in a year. I'd like to see, where you're at.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sorry, I
Wow.
went a little bit over. I thank you guys for having the patience to.
No, that was a lot of fun.
Those of you who are in it.
I don't see your faces though. I see a black screen.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
get us
sorry,
back,
Oh, you got that.
back
Okay.
on.
There we are.
There we
Oh, thank
are.
you.
There we are.
Yep.
Wow, Paul, thank you so much. I mean, there was so
Paul.
much information there.
That was
It's
a
like,
lot.
I know. How are we going to clip each one of those? I got a little bit of work to do.
He's always thinking like
there.
the marketeer, you know, oh, how are we going to get clips? Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah. I mean, there was so much good information there, so much value. And so I'm saying to people who are here today, and for those of you who are going to watch the replay, definitely, get out, something to take notes, because there are so many opportunities now, more than ever before, for you to close that gap and definitely drive more revenue into your organization. And I think, Paul, you just brought so many opportunities, so many solutions in the real world here. And I know, Joe, you definitely, you've built this click tracker, and this is huge. This is huge.
Nice.
I don't think people even realize this is just the tip for people to go ahead and integrate this. So.
Yeah, and I wanted to thank Paul. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, of course. And like those of you who are interested in this, like follow up with me afterwards. The data is going to be even better, and the reports are going to be even better in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. That's just how quickly things advance and evolve.
So you're a career associate executive, right? Association executive. That's your career.
Certified association executive. They're stuck with me now.
You're in, like it's go for broke, do everything you can do,
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. So
well,
right. for everybody who tuned in today, thank you so much. And we will be back next time. And we do have a wonderful topic all about AI and how it impacts nonprofits. Is it hype? Is it a lot of risk? Is it a game changer? Is it all above everything above that? And it's probably a little bit of everything, right? But we will be addressing it. And so we will be back. Follow us on social media. Obviously, we're here on LinkedIn, we're here on YouTube, and we're here on Facebook. Also, we are offering free consults. So go to johnconsulting.net, sign up for a free consult with one of our consultants. And Joe is offering a free walkthrough or click tracker. So if you're interested in seeing all the details, you've got a little bit that you saw today, reach out to us, because Joe is ready and available to show you all the details. So we will be back soon. And I want to say thank you again, Paul.
Yeah,
we're really happy you were here today.
All right. Take care, guys.
Stay put, guys.
Right,
Stay where you're at.